You know, it's amazing how a simple, everyday object like a park bench can become the absolute heart of a story about grief, connection, and hope. Today, we're going to dive into a short play called The Bench on Main Street, and you'll see how it uses this one tiny space to explore this huge universe of human loss and the surprising ways we find our way back to life. Right from the jump, the story hits you with this line. It immediately drops us right into the world of Thomas. It's Christmas Eve, he's sitting all alone on a bench, and he's talking to his late wife. This one sentence, man, it just sets the emotional stage for everything that's about to happen. So our story kicks off on a lonely Christmas Eve. The whole scene is just this single bench on a busy main street, and there's Thomas, completely lost in his memories of his wife, Margaret. And what's so powerful here is how specific Thomas's grief is. I mean, it's not just some vague sadness. It's built from these small, tangible moments, right? The smell of cookies baking, the sound of her voice singing carols, that ritual of driving around to see the lights. These are the little details that give his love and his loss so much weight. Okay, so just as Thomas is totally wrapped up in his memories, this mysterious young man named Bix just appears. He seems agitated and cold and really disconnected from all the Christmas chaos around him. His arrival completely shatters Thomas's solitude and starts to shift the entire story. And this is the question that just starts to hang in the air. As Thomas and Bix talk, there's this weird sense of familiarity that starts to build between them. Bix seems to know things, intimate things a total stranger just couldn't possibly know. It's this really uncanny connection. For example, Thomas mentions his tradition of looking at Christmas lights, and Bix shares one that's almost identical. Thomas talks about Margaret singing, and Bix starts recalling his own family's musical Christmases. It's almost as if Bix is pulling details straight from Thomas's mind, and it's leaving Thomas completely confused and, honestly, a little unnerved. And then, bam, the reveal. Bix isn't just some troubled young guy. He's a spirit. He literally just died in an accident nearby, and he says he was sent by Thomas's wife, Margaret, with a message. This is the exact moment the play turns from a simple story about grief into something else, a kind of supernatural tale of guidance. So Bix's purpose here is twofold. First, he has to deliver Margaret's message to Thomas. It's time to stop dwelling on this bench and rejoin the world. But second, and this is maybe even more important, he gives Thomas a new purpose, a mission. He asks Thomas to find his mother, Karen, and just make sure she isn't alone. Okay, so now we flash forward 1 month. The Christmas decorations are all gone, the town square is a lot starker, and Thomas is right back at that same bench. But this time, he's not alone. He's there to meet Karen, Bix's mother, to begin, well, sharing the weight of all this grief. Karen arrives, and she asks this just devastatingly simple question. It's a question that doesn't really have an answer, but it perfectly captures the profound, identity-shattering nature of her loss. It's not just that she lost her son. She feels like she's lost a part of herself. And the texture of her grief, she explains, is in what she calls the mundane things, which are the most painful. A glittery popsicle stick angel from 2nd grade becomes a symbol of his entire life. The cereal still sitting in the cupboard, the unfinished glass of water on his nightstand. These everyday objects are now sacred, gut-wrenching reminders of a life cut short. Now, in response to Karen's raw vulnerability, Thomas doesn't offer empty platitudes. He doesn't say he's in a better place. He offers his own story. He starts by quantifying his love, 42 years, only to immediately say it wasn't enough. It's such a powerful acknowledgement that no amount of time is ever really enough, is it? And just like Karen, Thomas's pain is found in the small things, not the big anniversaries, but the ordinary Tuesdays. It's the muscle memory of reaching for her hand in bed, the surprise of finding a little note she wrote years ago tucked in a coat pocket. These are what he calls the ambushes of grief, those totally unexpected moments that just break you. So when you put their experiences side by side, you see how grief really takes a different shape for each of them. For Karen, it's this raw anger at the universe, at this cosmic joke. For Thomas, it's a quiet guilt for not listening to Margaret's advice to live more fully. But the core emotion, the way they're both haunted by the small, everyday pieces of a life, that's fundamentally the same. By sharing these incredibly intimate, painful memories, something really powerful happens.
that bench is no longer just a monument to their individual loneliness. It becomes a bridge, a shared space where their two separate stories of loss can finally connect.
And it all leads to this simple invitation from Karen. Would you like to get some coffee? It's not some grand gesture, but it is, without a doubt, the most significant step in the entire play. It marks the moment they both choose to leave the bench, to step out of the past, and into a new shared present.
So what does this all add up to? The story uses this one chance encounter to deliver a really powerful message about how we navigate life after losing someone we loved so deeply. The transformation of the bench itself is absolutely central to this message. What starts as a place of total isolation, where Thomas is just trapped in his memories, becomes the very place where healing begins. It proves that connection can be found in the most unexpected places, even in shared sorrow. And this is the final, beautiful takeaway, spoken by Margaret's spirit. The love that Thomas feels for Margaret and that Karen feels for Bix, it hasn't vanished. It's just changed. It's now the force that brought these two grieving strangers together, transforming their pain into a new kind of friendship and support. And that leaves us with one last thought. The play suggests that healing often begins when we're brave enough to share our story with someone else. So the question it leaves us with is this: where in our own lives can we find a place or a person that allows for that kind of vulnerable, healing connection?